Hello everyone, I'm Phoebe Mariam Chandi, currently pursuing final year biomedical engineering from TKM Institute of Technology, Kollam. I'm the leader of my team. Here we have Mr. Vivek George, Managing Director of Trivia Innovations Private Limited, to give us an insight of a life-saving medical equipment, the oxygen concentrator. So let's get started. I, Phoebe Mariam Chandi, welcome you all to the introductory session of Oxygen Concentrator coordinated by Group 4 of Biomed 360. Biomed 360 is a campaign jointly initiated by IEEE EMBS young professionals, IEEE student volunteers and biomedical engineering students across Kerala with the aim of unleashing various medical devices to common people. Here, the biomedical students and graduates collaborate with biomedical professionals from various sectors to work on gathering data and information on medical devices. Today, we have with us our dearest mentor, our constant support, Mr. Vivek George, Managing Director at Trivia Innovations Private Limited. He is an MTech graduate from SRM University and has an experience of 11 years in information technology, healthcare solutions, and business development. He has also served as the secretary of IEEE EMBS Kerala chapter. His significant administration abilities combined with his praiseworthy team spirit exhibit him as a role model to the sprouting experts. With utmost privilege, I welcome you, sir, to this introductory session. First of all, I would like to ask you to share a bit more about yourself and about your working experiences.
Thanks, Abhi. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. So let me directly go to the questions. Before that, I welcome each and everyone to the session. Thank you for finding time to join this session. I will try my best to give you the maximum results what you are looking for. So coming back to me, I'm working right now as Managing Director of Trivia Innovations for past 2 years. I am actually an MTech biomedical engineer from SRM University. It was a dream for me to start my own company in biomedical section, and last 2 years back we have achieved that. My company deals with all the sales and marketing of biomedical products. We are also in the market for hospital medical software management as well. Before that, I was working as a director HR and as well as a VP in a previous company called Seriptech and Campus IQ, which was into banking sector and learning and development. I also have invested into another company which is into a finance domain. Due to the knowledge that I acquired from the previous company, I got confidence and I have been there to start that company as well. And long back, after my MTech, I was very lucky to serve TKM Institute of Technology as a placement officer from assistant professor in the electronics and biomedical department. And from there onwards, I love to be with students. I love to guide young fellows, and to acquire their dreams and all. Yes, Fabi.
All right, sir. So can you say what Biomed 360 campaign is all about for the viewers, and what interests you the most about this campaign?
As you say, Biomed 360, in the name itself, it sounds really interesting. It's Biomed 360, which means the name says that it gives an overall 360-degree knowledge about biomedical engineering. So that is one thing that attracted me to this project. And as you see, and the ultimate goal of Biomed 360 is to get a virtual learning experience. And in this, by providing virtual learning experience, it doesn't mean that just having theory sessions and just explaining about the topics. But usually, when you see the platforms like conferences or any other type of media where students get this outside knowledge that is outside the books, usually it would be like a lecture sessions. But in this Biomed 360, it brings together all the students, the participation of the students mostly. It's just not that, it's like a total curriculum based and totally planned program. And also, it's not only for biomedical students, it's for all the different uh, engineering students who have a passion, who even a small passion, or even they don't, even they want to know what is all about biomedical engineering and what is it deals with. And this, this Biomed 360 actually helps those students to know about more into this core subject. And moreover, the students who participated in Biomed 360, including my team, they get to collaborate with biomedical professionals, people like doctors, nurses, and specialists actually. So from them, they would be able to understand what actually happens in the live environment. That is another advantage of Biomed 360. Again, moreover, that sharing knowledge, with the what they have achieved. I mean, they personally have achieved so many things in this campaign, and moreover that, I mean, they are sharing whatever they know to others. So it's also an imparting knowledge whatever they have understood. So that makes them jack of trades. One. Number two, that helps them to advise others as well. And number three, they are becoming more attracted to this subject. So it's a proper way of learning, I should say. And coming back to me and how I got interested in Biomed 360, then I would say I always love to guide students. Whatever I learned, I love to share to students. I love to improvise things. I like to inspire students. And by this campaign, I have met so many students, who are outside of where I couldn't even reach to them, and maybe they could learn a little bit from me. I could learn a little bit from them. I got few questions, from these young hearts, which actually made me to revise, to learn more. So it's a bilateral learning, I should say. And moreover, that giving field awareness, that is another one more advantage. Live environment, other than the top, or other than the curriculum that you learn. Over when you come to a job kind of environment, what are the things you face, and what are the difficulties you face, and how to tackle that. And when experts say that, it will be a good environment to learn. So. So basically, three things for me, that is sharing knowledge, guide them to aspire their career, then giving them a field awareness, live environment. These are the 3-4 things that helped me to uh, the things that interested me in this campaign.
All right, sir. An oxygen concentrator is a medical device used to provide pure oxygen to patients. So, can you give a brief idea about oxygen concentrator and your experience working with oxygen concentrators? And how is it useful for people, especially in this current scenario?
That's a very big question, actually. So I will give a small glimpse of it. Most probably I will include the working also into this, because then only it will be more clear to the viewers. So basically, oxygen concentrator is nothing but it delivers oxygen to the people who have difficulty in getting oxygen. So basically, COPD patients. So basically, COPD in the sense, I will say, like patients who have lung disorders, or they have acute fibrosis in the lungs. They may feel difficult to, may feel I should. There will be difficulty for them to take oxygen from the normal environment. For them, this device helps them to give them the proper oxygen, like what we have seen in hospitals also. Other than that, post-operative patients, like after the operation, even post-labor cases also, they can use oxygen concentrator. Again, first I would like to give a small insight to this, that still in India or in even outside India, to use an oxygen concentrator, you need a prescription from the doctor or the medical practitioner. So that decides how the patients really recover. It's not that you can go and buy one oxygen concentrator and use it. So still you need a medical prescriptions to get it to the home. But in hospitals, naturally, they have VIP rooms and all that where oxygen concentrators are continuously used. Then what? Okay. And how it's useful to the patients, then what I would say. Like, carrying an oxygen cylinder to a home, a patient who is going to home may be facing little difficulty in paying the hospital expenses. Or maybe it's a case where, requires so many months or years to get cured. Or it's a case like a COPD where the patient requires continuous monitoring and continuous oxygen supply. In that cases, when they are taken to the home, it's very difficult for the patients to take a cylinder, that bulky equipment, flow meter, everything to the home, and continuously changing the cylinder. Again, it's a pretty difficult thing. So in those cases, of course, there is no other than that's a big option is to go for oxygen concentrator. So where oxygen concentrator takes oxygen from the air, atmospheric air, and where you have indications whether the oxygen level goes below 70%, so you know whether the oxygen supply is there or not. So many advantages which helps these kind of patients, to feel free. And like portable oxygen concentrators, which are very, small in size, which can be carried in a daily use, where they can go to office along with this device, or they can move around the house in house as well. So again, compared to the normal bulky oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrator very easy to use. One advantage of it, their size and all that. Then portability is another. You can travel along with the oxygen concentrator. Now that very small kind of travelite portable oxygen concentrators are also available in the market, so they can drive cars along with the oxygen concentrator. They can use it anywhere. And then again, it's lightweight, easy to use. Then what else? These are some of the advantages for the patients who use oxygen concentrator. So again, coming to the availability also, oxygen concentrator are readily available. It's a one kind of buy, no much complaints regarding the first few years. It's safe to use. Again, when I use the word safe, there are things that you need to follow. Then it's safe to use. Everything comes with a catalog or some conditions. So once you follow the conditions, and actually, then it's really safe to use. Then what? Yeah. So that is it. So now you understand what is an oxygen concentrator, which is just delivering oxygen to the people who have less oxygen in the blood, or they are feeling some dizziness, or they have some diseases where a doctor prescribes an oxygen concentrator to be used. Again, coming back to the advantages which I have told, why people, what is the use of using oxygen to people? These are some of the uses. Fabi, can I go with the working, or you want to ask it again?
Yeah, sure, sir. You can go with the working.
Okay. So again, coming to the working, I can give you a simple description, because I have given a detailed working principle and everything to the students earlier. So maybe the crowd is same again. I don't want to put them listen them. I don't want to make them listen it again. So to make it a better understanding, I will give in a simple steps, like 1 to 7 steps or 6 steps. What happens in the working of an oxygen concentrator? So as you know, oxygen concentrator works on electricity. Either it can be, some of the oxygen concentrator can be worked with battery also, or you have a electricity port in your home, then that can be also used. Then it, as you know, it takes air from the room, and what happens? It removes the nitrogen. Now, by telling nitrogen, what is it? So the air composed of almost 99% of oxygen and nitrogen. how many percentage of oxygen and how many percentage of nitrogen? Okay, let's put it as a max. 21 percentage of oxygen. Am I right? How many of
That's
you
true,
are?
sir. That's true.
Okay, so remaining is nitrogen. So the major quantity is nitrogen, but as I have told before to the students, oxygen is little heavier than nitrogen. Okay, so the main principle is to remove the nitrogen from the air. So the main portion of the air is removed. Then the remaining will be 21 percentage of oxygen and 1 percentage of other gases like argon, water vapor, carbon dioxide, and all that. So the dream or the achievement of an oxygen concentrator is to get this 21 percentage of oxygen. So or the 24 percentage of remaining air. Removing the nitrogen is the main task. So once this nitrogen is removed, you get 25 percentage of whatever remaining. In that 21 percentage is oxygen. So that is called 95 percentage of pure oxygen. Okay. Now what is 95 percent of pure oxygen? The output of the oxygen concentrator, the oxygen getting out from the oxygen concentrator machine is considered to be 90 to 95. Some of the oxygen concentrator has reached to 97 to 99. Some of the big companies are suggesting that they have 95 to 99 percentage of pure oxygen. Okay, and it claims to be more. Claims to be around there. So to be frank, we assume that 95% of pure oxygen, and this pure oxygen contains pure oxygen. And why it is called pure oxygen? It may contain water vapor and all that, but we consider it as a pure oxygen. Okay. Again, I want to make clear the term. Pure oxygen is the remaining of the nitrogen removed from the air. Okay, got it. So the 1% carbon dioxide and argon etc. will be there, which will be filtered in the beginning. So the main task is to filter this 1% in the filter this 1%. Then what you get is the pure form of oxygen. So how it is being done? It's a very simple process, and it is called pressure swing adsorption, or we call it as PSA. And this is the principle which the oxygen concentrator works. And in this, there are different components. So in an oxygen concentrator, there are series of filters. That is to be the first. There are filters there to filter out the air. And another main important part is air compressor. So this air compressor is something that compress the air from the whatever the air that's taken. It's compressed and sent to the next part, which is called seabirds, which looks like a tube tank. Okay, so we call it as molecular seabirds, which contains semi-permeable membranes. So this membrane permeability is the principle being used. So normally used seabirds are called zeolites, and zeolite is microporous aluminosilicate mineral. Okay, so this has and why we are using zeolite? Because this has this has an ability to trap nitrogen. Okay, so that is why we use zeolite pellets in the seabirds. So one is series of filters, second is air compressor, third is 3 molecular seabirds. There may be 2 tanks, and now there are some oxygen concentrators which is developed with 1 tank containing 2 tanks inside it. And there are switch valves. So this why these valves are used to switch different tanks and all that, which I will explain you. And number 4 is oxygen outlet, and also there will be a reservoir. Oxygen reservoir also will be there to collect the oxygen inside this, and there will be a flow meter which is placed outside the oxygen concentrator to adjust the flow of the oxygen to the patient. So these are the main components of oxygen concentrator. So which includes from filters to flow meter. So what happens? We will go like different steps. So to understand the room air, whatever the air available, think that you switched on a oxygen concentrator, what happens over there? So the room air will pass through these filters, the first part, and then it is drawn to a compressor, the second part, compressor. So what this through these filters, it will remove the different impurities and dust particles and all that, and which will be given to the compressor. Then the air is compressed and it's given to the first molecular seabed, or you consider it as a first tank. Okay, and in that what happens is the pressure continuously increases. There are some of them it's 2 times the normal atmospheric pressure, or 2.5 times the normal, or 20 psi pressure. Depends on you can take it anyway, 20 psi pressure or 2.5 times the atmospheric pressure, or 2 times the atmospheric pressure, whichever. So the pressure gradually increases in the first molecular seabed or first seabed. And in this seabed, there are what is there? Zeolites pellets will be there, and which has the ability to absorb the nitrogen. Once this pressure increases, the nitrogen gets absorbed, and it's a big tank, and not big in the sense it has a lot of area, so the total nitrogen gets absorbed, and the remaining is considered to be the oxygen. Okay, so these seabeds are very porous, and they have, as I said, there are a lot of large surface area, so and due to that it can absorb a large amount of nitrogen. Okay, then what happens? So once this total oxygen or gets absorbed by this seabirds or zeolites, this switch valve will be activated, and this entire or the switch valve gets activated, and the next seabirds, the compressor will pass the air to the next seabird, and gradually what happens? So first the compressor was compressing air to the first seabed. Once all the nitrogen is absorbed, the next seabeds get activated with the help of the switch valve, or switch it to the next seabed or the next tank, and again the compressor will pass the compressed air to the next tank. And what happens? Then the pressure in the first tank gets down, and due to this, oxygen will be transferred to the oxygen reservoir, and the remaining will be nitrogen will be in the membrane. So once we used to say that once the first tank or first seabed gets saturated, this valve will get into switched, and the output oxygen will be collected in the reservoir. Okay, so then the second tank, again the pressure goes high. It's same as the 2 times or 2.5 times, or till it reaches 20 psi. This will happen, and gradually the first tank's pressure goes down, and all the nitrogen which is trapped will be vented out when the pressure gets reduced, or the sieve gets discharged. Okay, all the first tank get discharged, and due to this, the nitrogen will be released to the normal air. There will be outlet, and to the outlet tubings it will be released. Again, once the second tank gets filled, or second tank gets saturated, what happens is this air from the second oxygen from the second tank is again collected in the reservoir, and again the same thing happens. It will be switched back to the first tank, and the same process continues. And from the reservoir, it will go to the flow meter, and in the flow meter you can regulate the flow level, and to that it will be given to the patient through the nasal cavity. Okay, so this is how the oxygen is given to the patient, and this process keeps on repeating, and the seabirds or the tanks gets discharged rapidly, And due to this, this process of switching the seabirds, or the process of switching or discharging, it's known as the pressure swing absorption, or this principle is known as the PSA, or pressure swing absorption. So whatever the output oxygen is collected in the reservoir, which reaches to 90 or 95%, it gets, we can set the output can be controlled using the flow meter. And it can be manually, or some new devices have digitally, you can fix it. And it can be given to the patient through the nasal cannula or mask. Okay. So in the flow meter, there will be a humidifier. This flow meter and the humidifier is same, like, which is also in the same conventional tank also, oxygen tank also, we usually connect the flow meter and the humidifier. The same way it is happening. So to summarize, I will say the principle is actually PSA, which is called pressure swing adsorption. So as you know, air contains 78% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. The process is to remove the nitrogen from the air, and will be left is considered to be 95% pure oxygen. So what happens? Room air in the air, which is given as a compressed air with the help of a compressor, and there will be two molecular seabirds which works alternately, and this seabird traps the nitrogen, and which will be removed into the atmosphere. And with the help of switch valves, we switch the air input and output, and nitrogen is again vented from each seabird and gets saturated. As you know, oxygen output is controlled by the flow meter, and which is given to the patient through a cannula or mask. Again, usually when there is one more method is used here. When the second tank gets saturated and the oxygen in the reservoir gets 90 to 95%, there is a flashback of oxygen. Or from the second tank, some of the oxygen gets flashed back into the first tank to remove the nitrogen to the air. So this mechanism also happens in a oxygen concentrator. So I think I have given you a small description of working of the oxygen concentrator. It is very simple. Like right now, Christmas is happening. There are stars which brings like alternately. The same way, the tanks also gets discharged automatically, which helps to trap the nitrogen, which is released to the air. Yeah. So that is the working of oxygen concentrator.
All right, sir. Okay. So, among different methods used in oxygen therapy, how does an oxygen concentrator stand out? Basically, what are the advantages of using oxygen concentrator in patients?
Okay. First of all, I want to tell you, like, oxygen concentrator work in they have two ways which there are two type of functions actually. There is continuous function and pulse dose function as well. So continuous function is giving oxygen to the patient continuously, simply as we say, as the word sounds, continuous supply of oxygen. Pulse dose is like when the patient intake the oxygen, or when the patient needs the oxygen, then only the oxygen gets supplied. Mostly all the oxygen concentrator that is available in the market will have pulse dose function, and some of the oxygen concentrator have both these functions, and some of them have continuous function. And again, these two functions, which type of function the patient uses, will be prescribed by the medical practices. Again, coming to the advantages of portable oxygen concentrator. I think that is the question, right? Yeah. So when you compare with the normal oxygen tanks, oxygen concentrators are far less dangerous, I should say. There are less chances of accidents, and what I say, and again, coming back to the portability or lightweight or the way it can be used, oxygen concentrator stands alone when compared to the normal normal oxygen tanks. Other than that, as you know, these oxygen concentrators take air from the atmosphere. You can say it is very advantageous because there is no fear that the oxygen level or oxygen will get depleted, or you doesn't have to worry about changing the tanks regularly. Also, in some of the oxygen concentrator, they are showing the indications when the oxygen levels goes below, required amount, like 70% or below. There are some of the oxygen concentrator will show the level. They will bring us yellow light, or when it goes the minimum required number again, it will show red light and all that. That is also really advantageous. And the other thing is, this patient it will be given to a single patient, so the less chance of infection is another one advantage compared to the normal type. Third is, again, in coming back to as a biomedical engineer, I should say, when you look at the maintenance, usual complaints are, it complaints with the seabirds or something like that, or the compressor may be damaged. Still, it works for a long, like almost 5 to 6 years. There won't be any critical maintenance that you need to take care. Just maybe some filters has to be changed. Other than that, there is no critical, need. Again, seeing the patient's requirement. If a patient who is critically ill, like a COPD patient, or a lung infected patient, if he have to, go to home and take the necessary treatment, then this allows the patient to live his life freely. So that is another big advantage. Again, coming back to what I said in the beginning, the way you use it, the way you use the device is very important. If you look at the normal oxygen tank, there are pure oxygen. There are chances that there will be fire issues. When it is placed near a when some fire or something goes around, there are so many. Even same thing can be observed here also. So those things are almost similar, but comparing the accidents, it's very less. So in a way, when you think about the oxygen concentrator compared to with the normal procedure, I guess this is more advantageous, and people can use it freely, and they can use it as a part of their daily life. And moreover, pure oxygen is being released, and it is taken from the room normal air. So that is again another advantage.
Okay, sir. Finally, we would love to know about your expectations and your overall experience with us throughout the Biomed 360 campaign.
To be frank, I really enjoyed the journey. First meeting you guys, but I would be very true. I couldn't do as much as I have thought. Maybe I couldn't be with my team so much because of my busy schedule. Other than that, the first time when I met my team, I saw the eagerness. I was very proud that I had a wonderful team leading with Febi. And the first output, when after taking the classes for the students, and then the output what they have given me, the summary or the work we assigned and the output they have come up with, it was really awesome. So I saw the the commitment of the group, and that was really awesome. I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that all the students who have who have been in the team have learned a lot about this machine. So that is really proud. So again, telling about the expectation of Biomed 360 campaign, I have so much of expectation, because once this comes, in the Instagram or the social media, this will be a revolutionary idea. First of all, think of students choosing an equipment. They talk to the experts, they have a mentor, then they have you know real-time practices, talking to experts, knowing the knowledge, practical experience, and they learn a lot. And end of this, they make a documentary of what they have learned, and that actually helps the other person. Like I said, sharing the knowledge uh, with no cost. That is another advantage. Uh, so first of all, I thank all the students, for finding time for this, allotting the precious moments in their life, for this knowledge. So I really appreciate the team, and of course the GB and the IEEE, EMBS, and professional team, and everybody who have been there with this idea, supported the entire team. So expectation is very huge. So I really wanted to see forward how this will come up. This all this effort will come up, and for yeah, that's all. I mean, and from my personal experience, I always love. I already told. I always love to guide students. I always love to motivate and inspire them. Because during my young age, during my college days, I always wanted someone to help me, guide me, tell us what next to do. So, which I am doing right now. I am very pride, and I'm very happy doing so. Thank you, Pep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us. We are really grateful to have you as our mentor, and we hope to get your guidance throughout our entire journey of Biomed 360 campaign. Thank you once again, sir.